and just keep.
All right, let's call this meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, some housekeeping, the exits are here and the one you came in and there's a back one over there. Anything happens, just follow Ron. He'll be the first one out. We do have a generator, heaven forbid, we need one. We are following the rules and procedures adopted earlier this year by this board. Please silence all your phones and any other electronic devices, including your watches and everything, so you don't interrupt. And with that, we will open the meeting with approval of the minutes for October 16th, as well as November 13th special meeting. Anyone have any issues with the meeting minutes that were provided?
Nope.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve both of those? Moved by Doug, seconded by Tim. Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. That's approved. Legal notices were published in the Daily Messenger. We have no continued public hearings. We have a new public hearing, PB 1002-24, Jeff Shear. Preliminary subdivision, plat approval of 6-lot subdivision. Come on up, whoever wants to talk about it and tell us what's going on. Please use the stand and the mic that's hanging down from that so so you can hear what's going, we can hear what's going on, and it gets recorded.
Not our engineer was up here tonight, but he's not here.
Okay,
My understanding is that he had already mailed in all the requests on different paperwork and different, information that needed from him.
okay.
Did you receive all that?
I believe the answer is yes.
Okay. Other than that, do you have any questions for us?
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll go around the room. We'll start with Ron.
It was Jeff Shear.
I'm sorry?
Jeff Shear.
Jeff Shear, yeah.
We did a coordinated review after our meeting on October 16th. It ended on Monday, the 18th of November at noon. There were no objections from any of the involved agencies. To the planning board being designated lead agency. There were no comments from any of the involved agencies regarding the proposed subdivision plat. So therefore, I drafted a resolution to designate the planning board the lead agency.
Right.
I drafted a resolution and provided a draft of parts 2 and 3 of the environmental record for the project. And I prepared a draft resolution for a determination of non-significance under seeker for the proposed action. And those are the seeker procedures required. County planning looked at this on the 13th of November. They sent it back as a class 1. Which is not of countywide significance.
Right.
And recommended that the comments provided be addressed. The comments provided included Ontario County Department of Public Works comments about site distances, and that was something we had previously identified. The applicant's engineer had submitted an email to us, which I think was sent on to you by John Robitella, identifying that site distances were exceeded the minimum required for 45 miles per hour. And that the other concerns were identified in the draft resolution approving with conditions the preliminary plat.
Okay,
The only outstanding unknown that I'm aware of is the issue of all these easements with the power companies and so.
Right.
Gas companies and everybody else that needs to be identified and documented on the drawings.
okay.
That's it.
Dan, you're gonna fill us in
Yeah,
on some
so-
conversations you've had.
I want to continue on what Ron just said about those easements with the gas company. Late this afternoon, just minutes before this meeting has started, our fire marshals was having conversations with National Fuel Gas. And, they are running this through their land department. They are not very in favor of the proposal. And they want some more time, and they've requested that this board allow them 30 more days to get a written response back on the land use of that area for those two lots. They're concerned with lot 4 and 5 where that easement is. I said I would propose that you guys did have a
Right.
preliminary in front of you, but that would be up to the board to decide, but that's what they're requesting. Which would put it on your second meeting in December if you do honor that request.
Okay. Ron, well, we'll cover it at the end. Tim, anything else?
Nope.
Tim,
Yeah, I guess the county reviewed the site distance on the driveways.
Yes, both the county DPW and the Victor School Department of Transportation came out, looked at the site, restrictions for southbound traffic on County Road 8.
Right.
And sent an email to me saying that they felt that it was adequate.
okay,
Yeah, I have nothing at this time.
engineering.
I don't have anything on the subdivision.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Do I have anybody speak for or against this application?
The
I
pipeline.
need you to tell me your name and address for the record.
Vernon College, 1098 Conroe.
You can ask me the questions. We'll get the answer if we can.
Gas pipeline, the large gas pipeline that goes through, is that what you were talking about?
Right.
What about the natural gas pipelines that are going through
That, yeah.
It is all natural gas.
That's the same thing.
All the
Yeah.
same.
there? But those natural gas lines going through there, those aren't connected to the big pipeline, are they?
That's the only gas line that goes through there is the big one.
But there's smaller ones.
There's other
too, that-
smaller
There's
ones.
Yellow pipes that stick up out.
Those are all part of the,
Yeah.
That is all,
that's all part of Empire Gas.
okay. What about the power lines?
Haven't any complaints from them.
Yeah, they're not actually, with how the property is laid out, they're,
Do you have a map of the property?
we do,
Where-
we do. I don't know if the applicant has one. with
You
them.
bring a map. You can always come in anytime to the building department. They can show you the maps anytime. But you can go ahead and lay that out for her.
Yeah, you can.
Can't really see it up on the easel probably, but
And how large are the lots?
go ahead and you guys can answer the size of the lots. Size? How large are the lots? 5 lots.
Feet from almost an acre, and there's one that's almost 2 acres.
Okay,
And so the, on the free lot is going to be more on the outlet side or it's not?
I think the whole area is being subdivided completely, correct?
That whole area is being subdivided into 5 single-family home buildings.
Okay. The whole 16 acres?
Yeah.
Or 15 acres?
Well, there's one section where the tower is down at the very far end on Collette Road. That's gonna stay separate. We're not gonna do
That's the unapproved lot.
Yeah. That's slide number 6. You just had to mention it, but we're not gonna touch that.
Okay,
Do you have people that are looking to purchase these lots already?
Yeah.
And so they're willing to spend $300,000-$400,000 on a house that sits on a gas line and power lines and.
They're gonna be probably closer to 5.
on a road that goes through there, so there's.
No, they're gonna have individual driveways going to the houses. And then we're gonna have a turnaround in each lot, so when they back out of their driveway or whatever it is, they can turn around and come straight out into the.
And they'll come out on Colette and County Road 8.
Hey, anything else?
It's us, the,
Need to know name and address.
Chris Santiago, 1094 County Road 8. Yes, that's the water level. For,
We can tell you right now that part of our MS4 procedure is that there will be no additional runoff from this property that will affect anything. Actually, may even be better, depends on what it is, but that's what we have engineers for. There will be no additional runoff compared to what it is today.
Everything now is seeping into the ground and is gonna continue doing that even if.
my basement, I'm the next house over next to this property right here. My basement is always wet. I mean, I have water going in, probably 10 gallons a minute going into my sump pump.
I'm not sure why you have water problems like that, but the way we construct things is after the footers and the concrete walls are built. We do what they call parge the outside of the wall with concrete. Then we spray it with tar, and then we put this bubble wrap all the way around it. We use a drain system called a former drain, which it goes on the inside and the outside of your footers. And it captures all, any extra water that may be leaching into sump pump and then pumped out. But in all the years I've been using the system, I've never had a call back with any leakage in the basement or anything.
Right, but he's talking about his house, so it's totally.
No, I don't know why
Yeah.
it sounds
Right.
like that. I don't know how the basement is.
Okay,
So the creek that runs through there, there's not gonna be any issues with runoff.
no, that's what our engineers will make sure.
Yeah.
Anything else, folks? Okay, do we have anybody online that would like to speak for or against this application? Anyone online to speak for or against this application? Okay, so what we have here is a situation where National Fuel Gas, Empire Pipeline, whatever they call themselves today, would prefer this to be held over for 30 days to give them the opportunity to address with their land unit the easements on at least 2 of the lots. And their intention right now is not to allow building in that area, but we'll certainly find out more when they do additional information. So the question, go ahead, Ron.
So if you're going to wait 30 days for natural fuel gas to get back to you with comments,
Right?
don't close the public hearing tonight.
Yeah, we shouldn't close the public hearing. Actually, I'm not sure we should even do seeker tonight. We should just wait to do the whole thing at the second meeting in December. That makes sense? So do I have a motion to table this application till the second meeting in December?
So moved.
Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we're gonna table it, and it's because of the severity of the comments coming back from National Fuel Gas. I mean, I would think that if you can't build on 2 of the 5 lots, that may change completely your plans, so. Certainly, Dan can keep you appraised once we get something from National Fuel Gas on what they're doing. But we want them, he's gonna be clear with National Fuel Gas, we want something back well enough in time for that second meeting in December, so we can do something.
I've requested that on to be in writing, obviously.
Right.
When that information comes back, will Larry have enough time to respond and do what he's got to do if paperwork is requested from him? So we don't miss that meeting in December?
That's our hope. That's our hope, is that we get it relatively quickly. Dan will get that turned over to you and your team, and then we'll hopefully be able to determine what changes need to be made, if any, to move forward, or you guys get to make a decision on what you want to do. Okay? We're trying to be fair and honest with you here. I'd hate to approve stuff and then have you jump through a bunch of hoops, huh? I know. Maybe you'll get lucky, an early Christmas present. Thank you. All right, so we'll keep the public hearing open too. Do we need to make a motion on that?
You did.
Okay,
Didn't
to table it, but would table it meant keep it open as well.
continue to the second,
Continue the public hearing and table, it, okay?
to the second,
Paula?
second meeting in
Second meeting in December. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, next item up is PB 0502-24, Maddie's Motorsports. We got anybody online for that? Anybody online for that? Okay. Ron, you want to say anything or move to Dan, or how you want to do it?
I'll just, back in October, the first meeting in October, this was before your board,
Mm-hmm.
and at that time, I believe Graham Marcus participated remotely
Mm-hmm.
in the meeting. And at that time said that he would meet with town staff and his surveyor and provide additional information for the planning board for tonight's meeting.
Right.
To my knowledge, we have not heard anything from Mr. Graham Marcus, nor have we received any additional information on a revised site plan from his surveyor. I'll turn the rest of it over to Dan.
Hey, Dan?
So we drafted a letter on November 15th. Yep, which should have been provided to the board as well. Pretty much stating what Ron just went over.
Mm-hmm.
He has not met any of those dates. So we are looking for action from you guys. We did state in the letter that failure by the applicant to meet one of the above conditions shall result in the planning board taking action to deny without prejudice for this application for final site plan amendment. If you guys do that, then he cannot resubmit, from my understanding, and Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, for a year.
Correct.
And he has to bring the site up to what you guys approved in the original.
Previously approved,
Yep,
site plan.
and at that point, he was put in the violation, and that's what generated this amendment to begin with. If you guys deny it, the violation then becomes valid again, and I can proceed in process of enforcement of the original site plan.
Appearance tickets.
Right.
And take them to, yeah.
Okay, Tim, anything? Engineering?
I don't have anything.
Okay, board, we played with this one back and forth a number of times. The site's currently not up to the approval conditions of our last site plan. So I think what we should do is to send staff off to create a resolution for our next meeting that would declare our disapproval of the application without prejudice. But at the same time, what I'd like to do is to have staff also send another letter to the applicant, giving him an understanding of what this ruling will be. If we do this, that he'll have, we will not be able to reapply for a year, and he will have to bring the site up to compliance with previous site plan approvals. Just so he knows. I mean, he should know, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he's oversaturated the site with product.
Yes, he had. It was too small a site to start with when he even first started it, so.
Would you like that sent via email and also certified mail
Yes,
so that we can
yes.
verify that he has received it?
Return receipt, so you know that he got it.
Yep.
Okay, with that, do I have a motion to send staff off, create a resolution of disapproval? Of denial, I'm sorry, of denial with, without prejudice, as well as send a letter to them explaining the issues involved with our denial. Do I have a motion? Moved by Doug, seconded by Tim. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Resolution. Aye. Martina Souza. Aye. Doug Beats.
Aye.
Ed Henninger.
Aye, okay. So we'll kick that can down the road one meeting, but we should have it resolved at that point. Now, heaven forbid, he comes in with everything that we need, we can look at it in a different light, but right now, I think we're done with that, so, okay? All right, so that's what we're gonna do there. We didn't have the applicant online. We make sure that's in the record, if you would, Paul, that the applicant did not show for the meeting, either in person or online. PB 1001-24, Scott Blazy, final subdivision plat approval for lots 1, 2, and 3. Is anyone here to speak for that? Does I have anybody online for that?
Yes, this is Scott Blazy online
Yep,
for
I
this.
thought I saw his name up there. Go ahead, tell us a little bit about this one, and then we'll move on with staff.
Sure. My engineer, Mark's Engineering, had sent an email prior. He was
Yep,
scheduled to be at this meeting and cannot make it. This is to subdivide my parents' property at 5075 Rushmore Road to allocate 5 acres to myself and my wife to eventually build a home on.
yep. Okay, that's pretty simple. Let's turn it over to Ron.
Yeah, the subdivision is the only thing that's before you tonight. There will be an application in the future for building permits for the lot where Mr. Blazy wants to construct a home and driveway and
Yep.
support, so that'll be a separate application. The only thing we found missing here was that there's not a regional location map, so we need to have that put on there so anybody looking at that map in the future would know where this is located on Rushmore Road,
Perfect.
and it's ready to go.
Okay, Dan?
No, Ron covered all the conditions. Just a reminder, to get this in, to get signed and filed as soon as possible, because
Right.
he is trying to get his preliminary site plan,
Right.
but that will hold that up if he doesn't get it filed, so.
Perfect. Tim,
All set.
engineering?
I don't have anything on subdivision.
Okay, the only thing I'd have for the applicant is pick up on what they said. Make sure that you get Brennan Marks to change that, add that regional location on that, from this resolution, and get that in for our signature so we can sign it and get it done so you can move on, okay?
Roger that. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we have a resolution in front of us to approve this subdivision. Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve the resolution? What's the matter?
Who's Roger? Do we have a Roger?
And not enough military experience there. Oh, you Army guys would figure that out.
Oh, I got more military experience than you do.
So we had a motion by Doug, Tim, seconded by Doug. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Kevin DeLucia.
Aye.
Martina Souza. Aye. Doug Beats.
Aye.
Ed Henninger.
Aye. Okay, you got it covered. Just get them to change that, get that in so we can get that thing signed, okay? Thanks, Scott.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, next item up is the preliminary site plan for Beretta. It's PB 1004-24. It's a preliminary site plan approval with conditions for the operation of commercial drainage excavation service. Got a number of conditions. Okay, applicant want to say something about this? Noel, you want to say something about the project or just turn it over to staff? It's up to you. Can't hear you.
On mute.
You're on mute, Noel. All right, can't hear you. I'll turn it over to Ron.
Yeah, this is a condition of the temporary use permit that was granted. by
Correct.
the Zoning Board of Appeals. And it is a site plan that shows the existing structures and storage areas on the site for this excavation operation. This operation is moved from its previous location in the southern portion of the town. I believe it was on Lanning Road,
Mhm.
and is now up on State Street in a new location. We are working to draft criteria for allowing this in the future as a special permitted use in that it supports
Right.
the drainage of agricultural lands and farming operations. So what you're looking at is a map that shows what's there on the site now. I understand that highway permits have been issued for that wide open area
Mhm.
there in front of the storage building that they have. And they're going to continue to operate the business from the house with the storage facility being part of the site plan approval.
Okay, Noel, I see you're unmuted. Do you have anything to
Yeah,
say?
sorry, little technical difficulties.
There you go.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, so yeah, so basically, I submitted everything that you guys wrote out.
Yep.
And I submitted it to Brennan Marks a couple weeks ago. So he is working on putting all that onto the plan so that we can get it to you guys.
You talking about the resolution?
Yeah, that all the
Perfect.
requirement, whatever was on there, I submitted to him and I told him just to take care of it.
Okay. All right, let's finish up with staff and we'll get this thing done here. Dan?
No, there is a lot of conditions on this one. But as Ron said, it is a temporary use. It's been through our ZBA. And their condition of approval was a site plan approved by this board. So, this is the next step
Okay.
for them. And, I think as long as those are addressed, the conditions, we should be able to move this forward.
Perfect. Tim?
Highway has no comments.
Engineering?
I don't have any comments either.
Okay, we have a resolution with a number of conditions, which I believe Noel just said she agreed to and asked her engineer to put them on the map. So with that, I have a resolution with conditions. Do I have a waive the reading and approve this resolution as presented?
So move.
Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. So once Brennan gets that done, Noel, and gets it turned over here, we'll get it signed and then he can turn around and file the final site plan. We can get that in the system and get this thing done and get you on the road there. I know that we'd like to have this thing wrapped up, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, everybody.
You got it, thank you. Okay, next item up is PB 1005, Allen and Dale Sadler, final subdivision plat approval, lots 1 and 2. I said that's PB 1005-02 or 24. Okay, do we have anybody on that one?
You did have an email from the engineer on this one saying that he isn't available. He's been the engineer on the last two, obviously.
Right.
He said that he was fine with the conditions and if the board was willing to move forward in his absence.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple condition, to be honest with you. Anything else, Ron?
No.
Tim? Engineering?
Subdivision.
Board? Have a motion to waive the reading and approve this final 2-lot subdivision with condition. Motion by Tim, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we have the PB 0903 24, which, oh, I'm sorry, now we're into other board actions. PB 0903 24, that is the preliminary site plan application for Scott Blazy, or for the Blazes, and this is just our determination that it's complete and scheduling a public hearing for, I assume, our next meeting.
Public meeting.
Pardon?
You need a public hearing?
It's preliminary site plan.
Right.
We don't really need one. Well,
You need to tell us.
you guys want a public meeting on this one? Preliminary site plan on a lot 2. Yeah, it's a single family home. We don't need a public hearing on that one.
That's what the
Yeah,
resolution calls for, public meeting, but. This
it's
is
just a public meeting, but not,
December 4th.
yes. Okay, so we do have a resolution that says December 4th at the meeting. So with that, board have any issues with that? I have a motion to waive the reading and approve that resolution. Moved by Doug, seconded by Tim, all in favor, or, sorry, clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Scott, you're good on that one, and we'll just get this thing rolling. Get in, but you gotta get that the subdivision in first, and let us get that one signed first, and then we can move forward with the other, okay?
Sounds good. Already sent Brendan an email as we were talking.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Tell
guys.
him to get my
Have a good
brother working on it, okay?
night. Will do.
Have a good one.
Maybe
Thank you,
get
too.
Roger working on it.
Roger.
Roger Wilco. Okay, we have, next item on the other board actions is ACOD Agriculture Conservation Overlay District
No.
Amendments Introduction. Ron?
You have one more final site plan for lot number R1, the Hollander.
1101-.
No, I printed the wrong agenda, but I do have the resolution. We have resolution PB 1101-24 to Hollander Designs. It's subdivision tract lot R1. And this is for complete, it's being complete and schedule a public hearing.
Public meeting.
A public meeting, I'm sorry. And then,
This hearing on the.
It does say hearing.
yeah, we got December 4th again. Okay, everybody good with that one?
Meeting or hearing? Meeting.
Meeting. That's what the resolution says. I just can't read. So used to saying public hearing, public meeting. Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution? Motion by Tim, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Go take a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, what's next on the agenda that I didn't print the right one? ACOD,
ACOD.
introduction, Ron.
Okay. Back in 2015, when we completed the farmland protection plan,
Yes.
the State Department of Agriculture and Markets recommended that the town establish strategic parcels of land to conserve for future and continued agricultural production. That was put into the comprehensive plan in 2021 when it was adopted. And we have been meeting with the members of the Ag Advisory Committee on and off for about 2 years to discuss this idea and how to go about looking at regulations to conserve the prime and unique agricultural classified soils. So what we came up with after all this time was an overlay district, which identifies the class 1 through 4 soils, which serve as the basis for all these landowners to receive the agricultural exemptions that they've been getting for years here in the town from their town taxes. What we did is we took a look at what areas of the town this applied to, and it was predominantly the existing A80 agricultural area here in the eastern portion of the town, and the RR80 generally located in the northern portion. Based on that, we came up with a concept that basically said, look, we want to conserve this resource. It's a resource that's going to be here long after the current property owners are long gone. It's a resource the town has a vested interest as the stewards of the land to protect. So we have taken a look at what already exists in the town code, and that is the provisions for the planning board to look at clustered subdivisions where there's a resource to be protected or conserved. And we've created regulations to do that. And the way this works is we are taking the A80 agricultural district and proposing it be renamed to the RA80 rural agricultural district, which coincides with the RR80 rural residential district. Because in the A80 agricultural district, more than just agricultural land use is allowed.
Right.
So having gone through that exercise with the farming community, we came up with a scenario that basically says, look, I come before you with a project for subdivision out in the rural area here. And if it's not on one of these already identified maps that was agreed to by the farming community, ag markets, and the town board back in 2015, okay, subdivision will occur as it does today.
Right.
If, however, it falls on one of these strategic farmland areas, then what we're asking happen is that the applicant submit whatever drawing it is he wants to subdivide and show how it affects the classified soils which already exist for that property for which the ag exemptions are being granted. Now, keeping in mind that the class 1 through 4 soils are the soils that have the higher ag value and therefore affect the greater exemption, it makes an awareness that you're cutting off your nose kind of to spite your face. By subdividing off and getting those more productive soils away from production continuing on those lands. The farmers also identified to us that the concern that they have is that eating up the frontage along the highways for these residential lots creates problems for them to get to the interior portion of the site and to allow continued ag production operations to occur there. Now, we have a right to farm law, and it addresses nuisance, but it doesn't address some of the issues that we're trying to do, and that is conserve these productive soils. We looked at about 10 different regulations across New York State that other municipalities had enacted. And what we found is that none of them identified the significance of conserving the prime and unique agricultural soils. They were all land use based regulations dealing with density, lot sizes, things of this nature. So we have something here in Farmington that's unique. We took this to the County Ag Enhancement Board earlier this month. The representative there from the Peerless Land Trust commented saying that this was too simple a solution. Why didn't somebody think of this before?
They didn't have it on, right?
Why, don't go there. But anyhow, they were very supportive.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Along with me that night was Al Adams, the chairman of our Ag Advisory
Mhm.
Committee. And Pete Maslin, one of the longtime members of the committee, and a person that makes his livelihood working on a large dairy farm here in Ontario, Hellendale Farms. Okay? What we came away with is the idea, okay, the county was supportive of this ag enhancement. We went back to the chairman. He's going to arrange during the day here sometime in January, February, which is kind of a slow month.
Right.
Go for ag production. To meet with the large landowners and explain this process. Now, the way it will work is that on these strategic farmland sites, you're gonna get two maps. One is what the applicant wanted.
Right.
The other one's gonna show you where the prime and unique soils are. And then you, working together with the Ag Advisory Committee, are going to come back with a recommendation to either move this around or move that around or relocate this in such a way that you conserve the more highly viable soils. Now, this isn't a take. This is an offer for an incentive.
Right.
And the incentive is, instead of having to have 150 or 300 feet of road frontage, depending on whether the site perks or not, you can have 20 feet of road frontage, a flag lot, going back to a lot of 25,000 square feet in area, provided you can show that you have a system that can perk back there and work in that environment.
Right.
So it's a process that allows you, the planning board, to coordinate with the Agricultural Advisory Committee in an attempt to preserve these soils. Now, in the final analysis, depending on the individual sites, if it can't work, it can't work, and you would approve the application based on their recommendation. But it's a process intended to get people aware of this resource, to get people to stop and think about what they're doing. Because when you're renting land from someone, they only care about what ag exemptions are that they get to take off their taxes.
Right.
And if you're destroying that without thinking about it, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Right.
Okay.
So what's the process on this?
Well, the process on this is going to be after the committee meets with the landowners
Landowners in January, February.
in January, February. Then we come back to the town board with a draft resolution. Town board at that point in time may again ask you for additional comments,
Our recommendation.
recommendations. It then goes to county planning. They get a public hearing, the public comes out and comments on it, and we move forward. This is something that I believe addresses the identified goal in our comprehensive plan of conserving this resource base.
This is the Keep Farm in Farmington.
Well, you can't do that if you don't have any good soils to work with,
Right, that's true.
okay?
I love that map though, because it just shows how much of Farmington is still rural. And that the rest is concentrated in about 20% of the town in one little corner. Kind of interesting. Okay, good. Anything else?
So that was it.
Thank you very, very much. That's good information.
Next up is the
Trail and sidewalk master plan?
working with Lance. We've been, we've taken the existing sidewalk and trail master plan map and updated all of the sidewalks,
Right,
trail connections that have occurred since this was originally created back in 2021. With this, we have now identified not only the most recent extensions of sidewalks, originally intended to be about 17,000 linear feet, somewhat less than that because of the costs incurred with the delays in getting the state approval of this.
concrete, et cetera, yeah.
And so what this map does is it shows where the existing sidewalks are, where the existing trails are, where the connections are to those facilities, as well as where phase two needs to provide the sidewalks. Now, a couple of areas of concern. One is the area over Hortensia and 96 by the Tops Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
That site has been in discussion now for 4 years.
I was gonna say 5, but yeah.
I may have had dark hair back then. But in any event, some of the conditions of approval for that project to continue require investments to be made by the owner, Mr. Ingracia, to extend the improvements to the signalized intersection.
Correct.
Over there at Hortensia 96, and extend sidewalks along 96 from Hortensia to the entrance to the plaza. Sidewalks along the east side of Hortensia down to connect to where they end at, name of that street that goes back to those townhomes.
Creek Point?
Creek Point, thank you. And other improvements within the site so that we can separate
Mm-hmm.
pedestrian movements from vehicular movements. When you see areas,
Be nice to see that plan.
be nice to see it come forward. Maybe it will now, since he's got Monroe County and IDA to grant him all the tax exemptions for the expansion of
Yep.
the hotel project up there.
Hmm.
The other area of concern we thought we had answers to, and that was with the Whitestone incentive zoning project
Right.
at the corner of 332 and 41. However, that project now has kind of gone cold because the developers failed to execute the contract agreement, and there's, at this point, no known
Right.
development. We want to extend sidewalks from Farmbrook up to 41.
Right.
And we want to extend them along 41 to the east, hopefully someday, or not Pheasants Crossing.
Phillips Landing.
Phillips Landing, there you go.
My goal is to try to get them as much sidewalk as they can.
Needs more sidewalk.
He
Or give him a couple people to plow it. Snow blow it.
What this map does is it identifies all.
Right.
And it will serve once the town board adopts it as an update, as the basis for the next round of HAP grant funding,
Perfect.
which will come out next April, May.
Good job.
Complete all this.
Okay, Ron, your report, you might as well do it from right there.
Uh,
Or did you all just do it?
Well, I can just say that we had a very good public information meeting here
Right?
Monday night on the Parks and Rec Master Plan. We had a good audience. Virginia was here from the planning board and the recreation advisory board and other boards that came along. We had great interest. One of the major points that came out of that meeting, from talking with the consultants and others, is that this synergy that's being created now with the opportunity to coordinate our resources for creating a community center that is not traditionally the same concept as other communities have created by having a parcel of land and putting a building on it, and that's the community center. Community center needs to be something that has the flexibility to capitalize on investments that we make. Right now, one of the thoughts is sharing a community center with Victor and Farmington. This has been discussed for many, many years.
Many years.
Many different design concepts that recently we were informed that Cobblestone Performing Arts
Right.
has received a $2 million commitment from Tom Galasano. And there are plans in the works for creating over there an indoor swimming pool, an indoor facility for winter sports on the turf field. They recently acquired the artificial turf board. I mean, she's not waiting, she moved, okay? And the concept is, let's not end up with a multi-million-dollar community center facility in Victor, one here in Farmington, and a third one over there at Cobblestone. We already know that was moving forward.
Right.
So that's one of the major things that came out of this meeting the other night, that I heard, and I'm sure Virginia's husband, Matt, picked up on it as well. It's encouraging to think about this private-public cooperation becoming a reality, something that allows the resident of the population for Cobblestone to intermix with the community. I think that's very important.
Yep, great.
And they've got a location over there that I think is kind of strategically located. So that was one of the things. The other thing is we have substantially completed the sidewalk project and the HAP program. Remaining is a trail connection between the Auburn Trail and County Road 41, which is being worked on, redesign. There will be an extension of that contract because we need to have about 150 feet of blacktop trail put in, which we can't get to until the plant's open in the spring. And it'll allow us the opportunity to also have the bridge completed.
Right, bridge hasn't come in yet.
Last we heard, the bridge is scheduled tentatively for the middle of December.
Nice.
We'll keep our fingers crossed whether that happens.
Cool.
I need to put the house in. The other thing that we're doing is Dan and I have began working on updates to chapters 144 and 165 of the town code. A lot of things in there that are out of date need to be brought up to date, and I'm sure that one of them you'll be happy with that, and that is that in the event the clerk of the board is not able to take the minutes of the meeting, Guess who has the
It's not me anymore. We gotta fix that. I have a hard enough time doing one thing, let alone two.
But I told them that, you gotta fix it right away.
Anything else, Ron?
No, that's okay.
Dan?
I'll keep it short.
Oh.
We're still busy. We're into the holiday season, so, people are taking vacations and using up time, so, things are still moving forward. I am working with Paula on your, dates and submittals for
Next year?
so I will have that in front of you for approval at your next meeting.
Perfect.
All I got.
Tim?
Same thing, you know, a lot of guys using up vacation time. We've been doing some cleanup, getting the little saplings out of the stormwater pond. Did some drainage work up to Beaver Creek Park, tied in the downspouts and put a pipe under the trail, keep it from washing out.
Cool.
Other than that, we're just waiting for it to snow.
I hope you got a while to wait. Engineering, Lance.
As Ron mentioned, Monday, we had the public information meeting for the Park and
Yep.
Rec meeting. We had about 50 people with staff. And so we're just tallying up the responses and everything else and hope to provide a response back to the town as kind of summarizing the event in totality. I have been working with the town on the site design criteria, as I mentioned to you guys. We have a final version being submitted to the town, hopefully by Friday. If not, I'll be by Monday. And then that version will go under review. And then assuming there's no additional comments, then that will be processed with the town board and possibly adopted by, our goal would be January, February timeframe. Likewise, we're also working on the updates to the MS4 program, as I've mentioned before as well. We're working with Dan and the town on that. We owe the town an updated swamp plan is what we call it. That plan itself, our goal is to get that adopted by March so that April, when the annual reports are due with DEC, we have it, the town of Farmington has an updated swamp plan representing everything they've done from the previous year and so on. So those are the updates that I have.
Cool. Well, we've got a public. Anybody have any additional comments you'd like to make?
I have one, and that is everybody in this room should be sending in a response to that Parks and Rec survey. It's online. It's a very simple process. Go to the town website, click on,
Oh, we already did the survey.
you did the survey. This is response to the recommendations,
Oh, okay.
okay? Let us know what you think.
It's online already.
It's already online.
Yep. Okay, we'll go look at that.
Go home and do it before you go.
What's, how do you find it?
Town of Farmington, NY.org.
Yeah, I know, but when you actually get on the website, where?
And then you go to committees and you click there and you'll see right at the top, it says Parks and Rec Master
And
Plan.
under there.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, board, anybody got anything? As the chairman, I don't have anything either, working with staff whenever they need anything, and with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn by Regina, seconded by Tim, all in favor? Done. Complete.